Hey, good morning. Good morning, Evo.
Good morning, Jill. Happy Tuesday to you. How went your day yesterday?
It was okay. The weather is depressing. It's been gray and rainy, and it's typical April. But as far as trading is concerned, I only took one trade yesterday. Everything took off and didn't uh, didn't give an entry, or me anyway, didn't give me an entry opportunity. So I was just down 1 hour on my top step combine yesterday, and I'll share that in a few minutes. How about yourself?
Took the day off. Didn't have the best night of sleep, so when that happens, I just felt like I needed to rest in and
Yeah.
just get extra rest. But I did uh, check out the charts later. I saw a couple of my setups. They were taking a while to materialize, but yeah, those kind of days, it's just like a V shape, and I don't want to chase. I hear you, so you just gotta let the bulls run and wait your turn.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it was hard not to get in because there was a couple times there that I had the finger on the trigger, and it wasn't exactly my setup, and then it takes off in the direction that you were thinking of going in. But you know what, I'd rather wait, and something. There's so many opportunities that yesterday was one of those days that just you get FOMO, right? Because you really, or ROMO, you regret of missing. But you know what? Every day has, or almost every day has opportunities, especially for my setups. They show up all the time. So
True. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and no hurry. I'm debating whether I'm even going to start this session at 9:15. I don't trade the open, and I don't plan on trading the open. The only thing that I was taking were kangaroo tail rejections, and that would only happen after the first 5 minutes has to print. If the wick is too long, I don't take it. But anyway, all that to say that I haven't been taking setups until 10 a.m. But I'll continue showing up at 9:30. I don't know if I'm going to show up at 9:15 to start this,
Yeah.
unless I hear that people like me doing the setups on these 10 tickers here. Um, you weren't here yesterday. I've created a little script for yesterday high, pre-market high, PDC, pre-market low, and yesterday low. I like having these. I used to have them on DOS, and so I've canceled my DOS subscription just for the way my trading has evolved, concentrating on futures now. I just don't need DOS for what it is that I'm doing now. So I'm trying to replicate what I had on DOS. So these levels are often magnets. So even if we look at, I think it's SPY, yeah, you look at SPY, you've got yesterday high and PDC. Um, this is a very strong level right now. We're trading above this, so I would likely be looking at a retest of this level for the continuation higher. Right, so that's what's new. I've put on. I don't know what the heck happened with this wick here. I don't know. Did we get that on cues as well? No. So on SPY, there's this massive wick. That's why pre-market low is like way down here. That could have been a mistake, or it could have been one order filled for some reason way down here and just gave this massive wick. So let's go and look at what I had on here for things to know before the open. I get my news off of X. It's pretty much the only place I get news. Plus, now that I've downloaded Truth Social, I get Trump's tweets or truths or whatever he wants to call them. So this information is I find valuable, but if you're reading news in the morning, this is probably already known. So the stocks are mixed. Oil lower amid Iran deal hopes. They're hoping that something will happen within the next few days. Oil is slipping despite the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. This is an ongoing news event, which is part of the reason I regretted taking that oil trade yesterday. With the market that is so news dependent and or tweet dependent, it's difficult to trade oil in these conditions. Like I've mentioned before, big U.S. banks are reporting earnings this morning and this week. I think I have them in here. So earnings scheduled. This is after the market closed, but this morning we had JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citigroup. Don't really want to get into what they reported, just the fact that they are reporting, and they always start off the earnings season. PPI report came in this morning already at 8:30, and it came in cooler than they expected, which is, I guess, surprising to some. So that was one of the 3-star information or news events at 8:30. And then we have some Fed people speaking today, but nothing else today that's seems really important. As far as what time is it? 9:24. As far as the my 10 tickers are concerned, Apple is has been choppy. We were buying yesterday. The range is lower as far as the CAM levels are concerned. Sorry, I've got something on my main screen that's distracting me. There we go. Move that away. So from 2 days ago, this was from Friday to Monday, we were lower. Therefore, this could be a rejection area of yesterday high. I would be looking at the possibility of shorting R3 here. I actually want to write something down. So here we go. So that's a possibility. For me, my only entry would be a rejection of this area here, because we are making new highs here. If it rejects, wicks up above here and gets a liquidity sweep and then starts moving down, I could be looking at R3 to S3. So that's what I'm looking at on Apple. I actually want to set an alert here above yesterday's high or at yesterday's high. So there you go. There's an alert. If it pops up above here, I'll start taking a look at it. Below where price is, we would have to make it below pre-market low. Again, for basically the same pattern. Do we wick below here and then continue to move higher? So that's what I'm looking at on Apple. AMD 30-minute time frame, we are above all these levels here, which is bullish. We have broken above yesterday's 2 days ago's high over here. This is the breakout. Do we come down and retest yesterday's high for the continuation higher? The range is higher this time. So if we punch up above R4, it could be a buy above R4, so a breakout and retest of this area. Or if it came and retested yesterday's low, like I mentioned, right? This was the breakout. We came down. If we come down and retest, but it would have to put in a wick and show a lot of buying at this level. So that's what I'd be looking at, the continuation for AMD. Again, I'm going to be paying attention at these levels, at these dotted lines. That's what I want to see, right? And especially when they bunch up like this. We've got yesterday's high, PDC, and pre-market low all in one area here. So this could be a very strong level of support. And the reason is support is because price is higher than this right now. So it could come down here, and if it does come down here, it could absolutely find some buyers. Amazon, again on the 30-minute, we've got the same scenario here: pre-market low, PDC, and yesterday's high, all in this area over here. This is putting in a 30-minute somewhat rejection candle. We can't tell until the candle closes, but if it closes below here and makes new lows, this would be a possible short, but I would only be aiming for these levels here because this is strong or could be strong support. Google, same scenario, pre-market high yesterday, high in PDC, all in the same area. We've got wicks to the top here, so showing possible rejection. If we look left, we have not been here in a while. So we could be rejecting here, but we could come down and retest. Over here, I'll put the fibs. This is where we really started seeing some buying. If it were to come down to R3 here, this could be the retest of this breakout right around R3. So this could be a buy signal here for the continuation higher. Again, I want to see what happens. I'll leave the fibs there. I want to see what happens at the levels. Okay, these are spread out a tiny bit on Meta, but Meta's strong over the last day and a half since Monday open. Been making new highs. What will happen at R3 over here? The entire market is strong right now, so I'd be very hesitant to take a short on these.
Yeah, you know what I noticed about the market yesterday, especially the SPY, the last 5-minute candle, I mean, closed on a lot of volume, of course, people closing their positions, but it was a big green candle. So yeah. The cues were a little bit different. I think they had kind of a shooting star formation, but that tells me they're still testing future interest. So
no, good point. This was stronger than a lot of people expected. Once we broke out above the high from Friday over here, aftermarket Friday, once we broke out above here, we retested, but just barely. And again, it just took off. So a lot of buyers in here. Buyers are absolutely in control. Market is open. So those of you who are trading the open, good luck. I would be very interested in looking at the retest here. I'm not necessarily looking for the short because there's not a lot of room to short. This will likely be a very strong area of support. That's for the SPY and Qs. These are my levels here. Qs have just in pre-market have just been ripping. So Qs could be finding some sellers up here, but again, I would expect a lot of buying to come back if it were to come back to PDC. Putting the fibs on the impulse buy, which started at the open at 4 a.m. The impulse buy, there you go. We already touched the 50 over here. Right, so if it were to come down and wick into the 50 again, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of buying happening. Apple alert already went off. So now that the market's open, I want to put my my 5-minute candles up. And sorry, I'm getting news alerts. That one's not important. That's my Apple alert. So again, it happening in the first 5 minutes. Not interested in this. Let's start looking at MNQ. This is one of the trades I wanted to share that I discussed yesterday, but the wick, this is one of those that just did not give an entry. Let me replay this for those of you who are looking or paying attention to the fib retracement strategy. Let's go back to the 5. Once the market's open, I like looking at the 5. So this was the low, and this was the start of the impulse move here. Let me remove this and let's put them back in. So the start of the impulse move is here, and then the reversal was on the next candle here where we started selling, but it came and touched the 50 and then took off from there. So even on the 2-minute, a little bit of an entry on the 2-minute, I guess, but you'd have to set your fibs, and it happened, fibs at the low, and then the high of the fibs happened like 4 minutes later. So this is very, very tight. Came and touched the 50 and just took off from there. If I go to the 5 again, it might have retouched it again. Yeah, there we go. Did it retouch? Yeah, no, it did not give an entry. Right, so the entry was right after the fib printed. So that for me was not an entry, but it just took off. Right, you look at a 30-minute and get out of the replay. And there you go. It just took off from there. So yes, it would have worked if you were quick on the trigger. This morning, I've put the fibs on for at the start of the 4 a.m. candle, because we started seeing some buying there right off the bat. I can't put the high yet until we start seeing a reversal. So now that I'm on the 5-minute here, if we start seeing some selling, I will move the fib to the high of that candle over here. And then I'm going to look to see, do we come and retest the 50 over here? But I prefer to wait after 10 a.m. And I said I would share what happened with the CL trade that I took yesterday. Let's go back to that. I believe I have it on here. Yes, I do. The fibs that I had on here was this sell over here, and then the reversal happened very quickly. So let's zoom into this.
Very strong 5-minute bar looking to print on spine cues, and then I'm seeing Palantir looking very strong, SMR also very strong, and INTC definitely selling off right now.
INTC has been, since we started looking at, oh yeah, what happened there? We were looking at it last week. Remember, I think, what was it at? Actually, I didn't take out the fibs. So this is where we were looking at it when we were discussing it last week, right around this area here. I think you took a trade on it that day, Tuesday. So last, was that? Yeah, last Tuesday, $51, and right now at 63. So it's quite the move over the last few days. But yeah, that's quite the drop. Is there news on it? Intel stock decade-long record rally. Yeah, so somebody's talking about the record rally and then profit taking, right? Pre-market high, yesterday's high. Yeah, that's quite the drop on INTC. PLTR you mentioned?
Yeah, PLTR and SMR. SMR is a NYSE nuclear power play, and then Palantir definitely had a very strong opening candle here. And that's kind of what I look for if I want to take something above VWAP. Otherwise, I try to buy below VWAP.
Yeah, interesting.
I'll throw a fib on these and see if they come to the golden zone and give me what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, the 50% retracement on any breakout is a very high probability zone. Here, I'll just finish what I was saying about the my trade on. This is actually the what I'm talking about, the 50% zone. So yesterday at close to 10 a.m., we really started selling. And then we put in this really strong wick over here. So I put fibs on here from there to there, but I don't like when the fibs are that close, but anyway, that's because this is so volatile. We get big volume spikes. It could be on news. It could be on, because a lot of people do have information that is not necessarily in being shared on mainstream media. It's just they could have information of stuff that they're seeing happening in real time. But anyway, this is what I had. I put the fibs on here, and then it came back into this zone and rejected. But then when it came back into the zone, it seemed like it was rejecting hard again. So I went in short right here. And this with my stop, actually my stop was above the wick here, probably right around there. And 3R was right at the low here. So this was a good setup. Followed my rules. Actually, the entry would have been right there, and the stop would have been there. So that's the trade, right? Going back into the 50, back into the 50. It was, I think I entered on the 2-minute here. This was a bearish 2-minute candle. Once it broke under, it went in my direction shortly, but then it just poof, just took out my my stop really quickly right here. But then it chopped around in here and then went in my direction. But you know, that's okay. This would have been, you know, probably a 4R loss had I left it on here. So it's definitely not worth it, right? So anyway, that was one. I shared it in the Discord. This is one that I took that I did not that did not work, and they often don't. As long as your winners can be bigger than your buyers, it's okay. Apple ripping. Now, what did I say? Apple, if it opened below R3, right, which it did, and then rejects R3, which it did not. Right? It went up all the way to R4. Now, R4 is also a short in a lower range. But, you know, these are very strong green candles right now that I don't think I would short R4 here, especially not with the size of this candle here. And we are above yesterday's high. So difficult to gauge what's going on with Apple here. And the Amazon, very strong. Thank you for sharing. Amazon, let's go to a 5. See, everything's above all these levels from yesterday. Amazon now above R6 for those that look at the CAM levels. As far as fib levels are concerned, it could come down and retest pre-market high here. Right, this is the breakout. If it came down and retested this area here, I'd like to be alerted. So I've put on an alert. And this high right now for my fib level is temporary. If we make a new high, then I will move it. Right? And it will also move my golden zone higher. But for now, this is the high of the fib, starting at 8 a.m. where we really started. That's why I want to see where did we really start buying. And this is it right here. It put in a 5-minute fair value gap here. So we can see that this was an impulse move higher. It retested this area right at the open and then took off. CL, find it prints way better, smoother on a 10-minute chart. Thank you for sharing, Tony. That's something I have not looked at. Full disclosure, I took my first trade in CL, I think last week. I had never traded it before, even when I was trading futures in 2024, or when I stopped trading futures in 2024. I would concentrate on ES and NQ. But now with Top Step, because it's doable, it's you know, it's fake money at the end of the day. It's just getting back into it with skin in the game, but it's a cheap way of testing and learning new strategies. So anyway, I took this trade yesterday. I regretted it for the only reason that it is CL, and CL is so volatile on news right now. But at the end of the day, it followed the 50% retracement, 50% golden zone rule. So it was a good trade. Let's look at the 10-minute. So yeah, from these highs. Did I take away the sorry, I know I'm moving my cursor a lot here. Am I in the right zone? No, I'm not. That's why. There we go. There we go. Okay, so there's a 10-minute. Rejected twice up here. Right, so that was a short. Yeah, it could have worked. So at the end of the day, I'm okay. This is not the 10-minute. Sorry, this is the 10-minute. There we go. Yeah, again, this double top here at these two 10-minute candles here, I probably would have been caught just as it broke below the 10-minute over here. And 10-minute might be something I'll start looking at. I like my 5 minutes, so I've been using them for so long. MNQ. MNQ is putting in that that kangaroo tail that I like. Let's look at this. Right, this is a kangaroo tail rejection that I like to trade. But I would not have taken it for for many reasons. The first reason is that it did not close at the low, but then it didn't break the low. Right, so this, and now that we've gone higher here, this kangaroo tail is non-existent to me. But had it closed near the bottom here and then printed a new low, it possibly would have been a short. But I would only be looking at getting back into the golden zone over here. And I don't like that it came right after a very bullish 5-minute candle that broke the highs here. So it did not meet my criteria. It's okay. I wasn't looking at it anyway. Forgot to share something here. There we go. And there we go. And put that there. And that there. Pull a fib now from the top of pre-market to the first low of US session. Tony, are you talking about CL again? Are you talking about that was on CL for yesterday? Yeah, okay. So now you're saying that was on CL for yesterday. Pull a fib now from top of pre-market to the first low of US session. So fib from here to here. Is that what you're saying? Yesterday, sorry. Yesterday, top of the session. Here, let me remove what I had from yesterday. There you go. So top of the session yesterday to, oh yeah, oh, I noticed. Yeah, sorry, I know exactly what you're saying. I did this yesterday. I once I was documenting my short here, I put in the fib from the top to the bottom here and saw that it printed absolutely perfectly. Thank you for reminding me, Tony. That's a great great way to look at it, right? So the fib here, let me redo it now that I'm zoomed in. So on CL yesterday, I'll take out this area. From the top of, this is Sunday, this is Sunday night at 6 p.m., right? Dropped down, and then, we were selling from there. So right from there to the low of this candle right here, look at how it came perfectly into the golden zone. Oh, it's a little bit too much of a zoom. Right in there. And now if I go to the 10-minute, Tony, is that what you were saying? There we go. Now if we go into the 10-minute over here, touched into it, wicked into it again, short on the break of the low, stop above the wicks, 3R was right here, couple candles away. By end of day, 14-hour trade. Yeah, that's a fantastic candle formation. I wish I'd taken my fib. That's the thing with fibs. I mean, where do you start and where do you end? Where you end is easier, but it's where do you pick your starting point? I like picking a point where you see that it's an impulse move. There's obvious selling happening. This could have been a good spot because we could not make it any higher here. But what I chose, I think, was over here. And right in this area is where I went short. But yeah, is that something, Tony, you've been mapping out with the fibs? Is this something like I always say, and I was talking about it to somebody else a few days ago, that I'm trying to build something that is mechanical when we talk about fibs. Right now, it's subjective. I don't like subjective. I prefer something mechanical like the open, right? It's mechanical. Pick the high of the opening of the session. And then this is also mechanical because this is obvious where we wicked down and started buying from here, right? But it's the subjective level of where do you pick your fibs. From practice, I didn't always trade the actual zone. I've been using fibs, especially for the 50% zone. What works for me in my trade book right now is what works for me most of the time is picking an impulse move. So where you see that there's obvious selling. So over here, right, we cannot make it any higher from here. And then we really started selling from there. So that's why I picked this level yesterday. Yeah, everybody looks at it differently. And but like I said, I would love to be able to make it mechanical because my dream is to be able to write code for one of my accounts and just put it on and get into algorithmic trading and just figure out a system that works, that's very mechanical, that's repeatable, that works more than 50% of the time, and then just set it and let it do its thing. That's the ultimate goal. I still enjoy being here and the reading price action, and I'm not going to stop that, but I would love to be able to make to write some code to make something repeatable. Evo, what are you looking at?
I'm checking out for potential long above VWAP, APLD, and still looking at SMR and the SPY, of course, via SPYU. I also have INTC, so it maybe found a bottom here. Let's see if we get a pullback so I can get a better entry. So
Yeah.
those are kind of the four main ones that I'm looking at right now. I'm just amazed with the market, like with these overseas events. From what I've been reading, just there's this great FOMO. People
Yeah.
who missed out after Liberation Day, they are not missing out this time, and
Yeah.
even without a resolution overseas, they do not give a hoot. I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah. The market wants to be strong.
Yeah.
The market wants to get back to these highs here. Yeah, I hadn't looked at a daily chart in a while. We've got a daily fair value gap right over here. So that's really interesting. If we close this gap from February, right? Late February. This was February 25th. And then we sold, went down, could not make a new high, and really started selling from there. Yeah, and then getting close to all-time highs again, which is, people that are looking at their long-term portfolios. This is interesting. It's great that we're getting back there. And with my investing students, I always tell them that this pullback, don't panic. Don't panic. If you are dollar cost averaging, this is fantastic. You're buying on sale all the way down here.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're reaping the benefits. Right? So yeah, not giving much of an entry for the continuation long. MNQ, I've already put a fib for the open of the market or the low of the market here. Right over here. It could be just a tiny bit higher here. This is where we really started, right, breaking out above a few key levels here. This is where we really started buying, but I need to move my high because we've made it higher now. So after 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock, maybe we'll slowly make our way down here and come grab some new buyers for the continuation long. Right, so this is where I would set an alert right above the area because I will likely not be at my computer when this happens. We got declining volume right now on the selling here. Or yeah, so this is what I'd be looking at on MNQ. MES is probably very similar. MES. So at 2 a.m. here, we really started buying. I'll set a fib from here all the way to the top. Bring this back to the 5-minute. Right, so over here, set an alert. If it comes back down into this area, hopefully not really quickly, stair step down, and then wick into here and really find some strong buyers and then continue all the way up. So that's the only thing I'm looking at. I'll do it on gold as well. Right, on gold, we dipped down here, found some buyers at yesterday's high. Right, this yesterday's high became pre-market low and then really started finding some buyers. So I'm going to use this as my starting point for the fibs. Go up to the top of the wick. This is where we rejected above pre-market low, high, sorry. For here, set an alert. right above the 50, so I can start looking at it just to see what will it do here. This I put INTC. What do I usually have here? After gold is oil. There you go. Oil on the 5. Well, we started selling over here. I'm going to stop this here right now, but I'm likely going to move it. And then I'm going to set an alert. Once we start buying, and we will at a certain point, we're gonna start buying up. And then I'm going to set an alert right above the 50% zone again. M2K, really choppy, not directional right now. I started buying over here above this key level here. And there you go. M2K I trade very rarely. And then this is the micro Bitcoin futures. Notice this morning is really, really choppy and like a very low volume on this. This I've never taken a trade in. Really started buying up here. There we go. And there we go. So if there's anything you want to look at, please don't hesitate to share, either in the chat or on the mic. MNQ, we might be pulling back here. I wouldn't be surprised to see some buying at this level here. All right, the low of these wicks. But my only strategy at this point is a double top. If we come and make a double top here, but it needs to be at a level. So for me to find a level, like how do I know that 25,764 is a level? Well, I go into a higher time frame here. 30-minute, we got to go quite a ways before we find a level. So I'm actually going to go to the daily. And I'm going to see like this area right here. Right, this was rejected a bunch of times over here. So I'm just going to put a line there. This was rejected here, played around in here. Right, this could be a level of rejection here, but it's way above this area where it is right now. So for me to take a short here, it's definitely not worth it. Right, because it's not at a level of resistance. If it were at this level here, it might be. Let me go back to the 1 minute. We used to have our measured moves from the 8 a.m. candle, but they no longer print as they used to. Another one I like using is the 1 minute measured move. So this is what the 1 minute looks like. I like printing this on the 1 minute, the initial 1 minute candle. Look at how we've touched that level twice now. Touched it there, touched it again. Right? That's the thing with measured moves. I mean, everything is fractals. I sometimes put these on for profit targets. Like if we were to break out of here, if I were to take a long, let's say here, I would be looking at taking profit right here. And look how this one aligns perfectly with that line I just put in. So anyway, that's one that I use. Let's put it back to my FIMS. Golden zone. There it is. And
dang, looks like the SPY wants to break out. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's just kind of hanging
yeah,
at
you're
this
not
level.
interrupting, Evil. Please don't hesitate. Yeah.
And the volume bar is sort of eclipsing the last 5-minute candle so far. We'll see, but it's like it hasn't pulled back enough for me to like jump in.
Yeah.
I mean, that fib level's got to be like around 20. It's probably 23%. It's actually
there.
slightly above the 23.6% range so far.
Where would you start it at the low of the initial candle?
Yeah, the low, the first 5-minute candle, and green. We've got some volume that's increasing, and I could put on a trade on SPYU. It'd be a really tight risk, maybe like 4 or 5 cents. I could boatload shares, but I don't like buying at this range. It's right at the high premium level. I'd rather it come down a bit. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in.
So looking at the fibs, I usually don't. I take this the 23% one. I take it out of there just because I don't use it. But look at where it is right now. It's touched it twice. The formation of this candle is very important. Right, this might, if it closes red and then makes a new low, then this last 5-minute candle could be very bearish. Take that out. There we go. Yeah, so according to my trade book, now that it's after 10, I'd be looking at the possibility of this breaking out. And if it does break out, I'd be looking at the retest of it. So that's on SPY.
It's got an inverted hammer print.
Yeah, definitely looks strong. MNQ, did I not put fibs on here? I guess
It's a really tight consolidation range. So the longer that tight consolidation range lasts, the stronger the move, whether it's going to go up or down. It's just coiled like a snake right now. I don't know. I have a feeling we're headed to the upside.
Yeah.
Just based off the volume profile of the last 5-minute green candle print.
Yeah, look at MES. It's mirroring SPY, or one is mirroring the other. Right? Very similar price action here, or candle formations. Yeah, be curious to see what it does here. It did not pull back enough for me to look at an entry. If we go right from the open here, again, a very shallow pullback. But if you're looking at a break and retest, the retest here, for some people, could be enough for the continuation long. Right? It broke out a pre-market high here. Right? Very strong. Maybe the retest of this, the high of this wick over here. But anyway, for me, there's no entry. So there you go, new high a day on MES. I'm assuming similar for SPY. No, SPY hasn't done it yet. High
is coming up as well.
And Q, let's go back to the 5. Yeah.
Seems to be VWAP is holding on the Qs so far, and yeah, looks like the SPY's wanting to move forward. So I'm kind of looking at INTC here for potential entry. We'll see if these levels hold, but nothing else for me. Do you have anything that you're looking at, Jean?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading the, I wanted to see if Trump had put something out here. You took the long on MNQ. That's Tarek. Let's look at MNQ again. Yeah, the breakout, the initial breakout here, for me, it's difficult to take. But yeah, very strong. If it came down and touched here, right? Yes, I have changed my my fib levels, but I'd really want to see if it came down here and we saw some buying coming in. I could move my alert to over here. I was also reading what Hamza wrote here. Trump admin official having all the components of a deal, but it's not finalized yet. Meanwhile, every other country is reducing fuel taxes and duties. Yeah, I wanted to see if Trump had said something and I didn't see anything. And to answer your question, one of my students was talking about BE yesterday, Bloom Energy. Bloom Energy was in the news a while ago, and it's just ripping. So over the last few days, this is, I believe, they work in, I think what they create, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody's in there knows about this company, but I think they make modular, I should make sure before I share it, but they make energy for AI, for, what do you call those, data centers. On-site, yeah, on-site clean electricity generating using solid oxide fuel cells. Their modular one Bloom box servers provide reliable, continuous energy for commercial, industrial, and data center customers. So this is one that's just been ripping on the daily. I believe they're at all-time high. Yeah. All right, so this is one, and people were talking about this at the breakout of this level here last year. That's where I first looked at it. I don't remember who, but somebody was talking about breaking out of this level right here. Right, once it broke out of this level and then retested. Whoever invested in this at $30. Are they still in it? I don't know. Once you go from $30 to $150, and then you take this pullback over here, you're likely to sell on the way down here. So I don't know a lot of people that would be, unless you know that this is something in your long-term portfolio and you're holding it for 20 years. But nice big move in Bloom Energy. Go back to the 5. Eric, you're long. Hopefully that's working out for you. And oil, I'm assuming, is dropping after whatever Hamza just shared here. See, this is one of them where it's where do you set your fibs? Well, you could set it at where we really started selling, but this was the low of pre-market here, and we started selling and broke this level right around here. All right, so this could pull back. Again, it's not, I don't trade it where it just touches, and no, I want to see, does this level, does the market react to this level? right? Or does it just touch it and keep moving down? I mean, some strategies will say that, where if it touches it, puts in a bearish candle after the touch, then it's a short. Depending on how you use this strategy and how you want to backtest it. What I want to see is, will this level, is it just a random line right now? Or will it actually be respected by the market? So curious to see what happens on CL. Again, very, very news driven. This was a level of support over here. Right? Is that where we just touched? Not quite. Right? We reversed from this area here. Why did I put it right there? The low is right here. So once we touched this level, then we started taking off. But as far as news-driven stocks, there's nothing more news-driven than oil futures right now. And the fact of the possibility of a deal with Iran, oil will fall, but everything else could rip. Yeah, look at MES. SPY. Did you take that SPY, Evo?
I actually entered not long on the SPY. I entered long on SMR.
Yeah, you were talking about it earlier.
You want me to show you?
Sure, please share your screen. Yeah.
Let me know when it's clear on your end.
Yeah, blurry right now. I'm really curious. Is it the same for anybody else? As far as when Evo shares his screen, it takes a little while to clear up. And by the way, if you're seeing only my screen, I believe there's a tab that you can click to see Evo screen. And question over here from Al, do you guys think ES goes to all-time highs? I don't really do analysis on ES. I do it more on SPY. But SPY, if I go to the daily over here, now that we've broken this structure and we're clearly buying, I would absolutely think, again, this is not trading advice or investing advice, but if we're coming all the way up here, I would absolutely think that eventually, don't know when it's going to happen, but over the next shorter while, that it's not going to reverse out of nowhere unless news happens, right? Unless something, the Iran war goes longer, something happens, then yeah, it could reverse. But right now, just looking at what I'm seeing, this is very, very bullish. These gaps are massive. So I would absolutely think that we're going to all-time highs for SPY. What it does from there, nobody knows. Eventually, though, it's going to keep on going higher, right? Over the long run, over the long run, it's going to make new highs, right? Not a prediction. It's just that's what it's done in the past, right? This was COVID, right? COVID dip. This was 2022, right? At a bear market, and then 2023, and then April tariffs from last year, big drop down. And then Iran uncertainty, and now we're still in the Iran uncertainty. We're making new highs. I mean, if things get rectified, this things could absolutely keep going. So anyway, just wanted to answer that question. Thanks for sharing your screen. Evo, go ahead.
Oh, sure. So I was watching SMR and had some good pre-market volume. We had a definite pop at the open. You mentioned earlier, like, where do we start fib lines? Well, I decided to start it here in the pre-market because if you look at this chart in the 15-minute chart, I have a DeMark sequence indicator, these numbers that appear above the candlesticks. So the number 1 was the beginning of the sequence on the 15-minute chart. So I decided just, okay, that's where I'm going to put the start of my fib, which was around 1013, right about here. And so we definitely had a really steep pullback to 78.6%. That's a bit steeper than I like it. I like it to be in the golden zone here.
Yeah.
But I will take a trade if I see what I like. And what I saw was this, and this is a 5-minute chart to the left. We had pretty much tweezer bottoms here.
Yeah.
We had a low of 1039 on each of these candles, and we printed a nice green hammer candle. So that was enough for me. We were holding a deeper fib level, not my best, but we had declining volume on the selling side.
Yep.
Tweezer bottoms, green hammer, I'm in. I got in just a few cents later. This closed around 1048. I got in about 1050 and change. So I'm hoping this can get to 2R, which would be just above VWAP, about 1070, and I'll bring my stop to break even. And ideally, I want to target like 1107 and maybe high day 1126, because right now the market's trending up. So I'm willing to like not take any partials. I want to really try to hold for a higher target, because so far the market's telling me it's going that way. But
Yeah. Do you mind me
if you
asking?
see something different, let me know.
Yeah, no, your analysis is great, especially that you're following your rules. You've got a trade book and you've got rules that you follow, and sometimes you don't have to reach absolutely every one of the ticks, but you're seeing something. And but I was going to ask, I'm assuming your stop is below that double tweezer bottom?
It's right at the tweezer bottom at 1039, and right now I'm at my 2R level, very close. So
Yeah.
I'm just about to raise it. My entry level is right around here, so I want to have it maybe a penny above for slippage. So yeah, I'm going to raise this right now.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So you're
stress-free trade.
Stress-free trade. Yeah.
And I'm already at 2R, and hopefully we'll get up here, and that's another 4R. So if I can get 6R on this puppy, woohoo.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Good. Thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There we go. Anything if you missed that turn yesterday? Yeah, it's difficult to get into anything now if you missed that run. I think you're trying to say that run yesterday. And if you meant turn, I don't know what you mean by turn, but it's yeah, things are definitely strong right now. I am going to look at my MNQ. See, MNQ now is I'm going to get rid of my alert because it's no longer pertinent at the point where it is now. But I've set my my fibs on MNQ at the bottom, the low of the candle right before we opened. I could actually bring this to the opening candle, but then the high keeps moving. Right, we're making new highs. So I'd like to see a pullback into the 50. I mean, this thing is eventually going to pull back. So I will now set an alert at these new levels. MES, I've got to move the fibs to the highs, but we haven't necessarily started reversing yet. It's funny how when you take a fib and you move it to the new high, it's interesting to see how the 50 becomes the area where we retest it again. Right? It's just they're measured moves. The market works in measured moves. So just for the fun of it, let's put my let's remove this. Put it back after. Let's remove volume, cam levels, fair value gap. There you go. Removed everything and delete. Let's go to the 1 minute and let's see if the 1 minute measured move Here, I just have to do this and change the fib. If somebody knows how I can have two different tools, if it's possible to have two different fibs, my fib with the golden zone, and then the second tool would be my fib with the 1 minute measured move. I would love to know if it's possible instead of doing it the way that I'm doing it right now. But look at the 1 minute candle. Right? Look at how it came and touched over here and then broke up and then touched again. And look at this level over here and look at how it's rejecting this level over here. Right? I don't know if it looks a lot like what we used to use as the 8 a.m. candle. So there we go. So what are you saying? So I'm going to go back to my golden zone. Start it here and end it there. Yeah, the 1 minute that I was just sharing, the 1 minute measured move works incredibly well. Yes, there are a lot of lines on your screen, so I don't usually put it on unless I get into a position. And then if obviously I try to get 3R, but I want to see where the measured move potentials are. So I don't think this is worth it anymore because we're way above these levels. Trading sessions, I'm pretty sure we're way above Asia. Yeah, there we go. So that's not worth it. I always like having the fibs, or sorry, the fair value gaps on there. And the Camarilla levels, I enjoy having on there. I don't necessarily trade according to those rules, but knowing the system, I like having them on there as well. And look how the top coincides with R3 right now. So very short-term double top, right? Tweezer top, as Evo would call them. Right? And some people would short this, right? If we break below 69.67, it could absolutely be a short, and just aiming for the retest of this golden zone. Right? I don't know if anybody here trades that, but that's how I meant what you just did with the settings. Another tool. You can save your settings when you open the fib settings. Yeah, I've got my fib settings here, right? So this right here is a fib retracement tool. So it's the last one that I used. So if I click it, it'll be the golden zone one again. But I'd love for another tool to be beside it where it would be the measured move one. Instead of having to go in, choose template, choose measured move, and then go modify it. Right? So if there's a way that I like that, this one could be another tool, right? Another shortcut. It's not absolutely necessary either. Did Avi say he was jumping on today? Avi, I think he said that he would try. I don't see anything on here.
Yeah, let me check and see on my end. He said something.
Yeah. Let's go back to Apple over here, which I'm not really looking at, and I'll put in SMR. Right, definitely going in your direction still.
Yep, still trying to hold on to VWAP, and brought my stop to slightly above break even. Of course, it's always like, it's very tempting to like take a partial locking gains. It's really, it's challenging for me to just sit on everything and not do anything.
Yeah, I've struggled with that quite a lot. What works for me, depending on the session, depending on the account, is aiming for 3R. And if it, according to my rules, if it gets to 3R very quickly, then I will sometimes take 80% off and leave the rest to run. And then if it shows me a pattern where I can bring that last 20% to 3R, then the minimum I'll make is 3R. But I'm looking at changing that with futures. I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to do it. This market before the last 4 or 5 days has been difficult because there's been no continuation. But now we're seeing something different. Right, so that's one of the difficulties, is when to take profit. You obviously want to try to make your winners bigger than your losers, but sometimes you want to make your winners much bigger than your losers. So I don't know how SMR reacts, how it's don't know what it does. So I don't know this this stock, but yeah, it's definitely a strong initial move. Then this double, this is your entry over here right above pre-market high, was really nice.
And right now we got a little bit of volume increase on the 5-minute chart, and we got a kind of the body is filling out. There's no bottom wick. So that tells me it might be strong here. So so far, I mean, we're talking already 5 green candles in a row. But I'm still holding on.
Yeah, so according to my calculation, my tool right now, it's at 2.58R. I don't know what your
I'm right at around, I'm slightly above 3R right now, actually.
okay.
My entry was 1050 and it's at 1082. We're getting some selling here, but unless I see a reversal sign,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang.
Yeah, and a reversal signal. Do you mind? I was going to say it, but do you mind saying, like, would it be a reverse
shooting star?
Shooting star, yeah.
Yeah, see, we kind of print a green shooting star there a little bit, but and the DeMark just broke on the 15-minute chart. So yeah,
So
I may need a partial here unless something changes quickly.
yeah.
Or maybe it's going to head up for a new sequence upwards. So let's see. But my finger's kind of on the trigger here in case I see something weird. I'll take at least half off.
Yeah, so
I didn't like that the sequence was just broken, but it may be starting a new sequence. So I have to see here.
yeah, I'm gonna have to study that. That's something I've never read about. I've never studied your that indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has ever studied that. It's a new one. I know you've mentioned it before, but it's a new one for me. Yeah, that was a lot of volume here, right? A lot of volume for not a massive candle. So what was this? Was it profit taking, or are we getting into new positions?
Maybe, yeah, I'm looking at 1073 was the low of the last candle, so that level's got to hold. If it doesn't hold, I may partial here.
Yeah. Interesting to watch. It is 10:30, so I'm going to cut out, and I'll be back tomorrow. Actually, let's see how this this 5-minute candle prints out on SMR. I'll stay here for moral support.
Thank you. Of course, VWAP's at 1069, so that's the critical level that it has to hold.
Yeah. On the 5-minute here, we've got a big fair value gap and then a smaller one right here. Again, please don't let this influence, but what what I would not be surprised to see is a dip down below this somewhat bearish candle, even though it printed green, just to try to trap some sellers. And then the continuation, the continuing move up is a possibility. Right, wick down below 73 to VWAP, and then find more buyers for the continuation up. Who knows? I'm obviously not in the position, so it's gonna have to be up to you.
Yeah. Well, Zil, thanks so much again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, hey, no problem. It's I appreciate you being there and being on the mic, and I appreciate the comments on in the comment board as well. NBT broke last night, last month's high, so Bitcoin moving, and NET monthly high too. So yeah, things are things are bullish, which is fantastic. Let's get back into a bullish market. Would be great if we can figure things out in the Middle East and even Russia, Ukraine. I mean, 2026 could be an incredible year. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'll be back tomorrow. Good luck, everyone. Thanks for being there. And yeah, well, I'm
Thank you, Jerry.
Not sure if Evo is oh sorry, Evo, are you going to stay in here? No, not sure if Avi is coming in, but just look at the announcements. Actually, no, he just posted a video on YouTube, but no mention of coming on. But I'm sure he will post something if he does come on. Okay, cheers. Have a great day.
Adios.
Okay, bye-bye.